Hi, welcome to another video. I've not done one for ages, so I'm going to be banging out some more videos, quite a few in the next few weeks. And we're going to have a focus at the moment on 5 essential tips for beginners. And the first one we're going to start off with is 5 essential tips for strumming. So these are things that may seem obvious if you've been playing a little bit, but for complete beginners, and I notice this when I'm teaching people, certain things don't come easily, and just by having somebody tell you that, you can suddenly think that, oh yeah, I can do that as well. So, tip number 1. Now, it's important when you're strumming is to hold the plectrum correctly. Now, there's different ways of holding it, and this is going to change depending on what angle you're doing, how fast you're playing. But the crucial thing is, ideally you want it coming out of the side of your thumb. So if you put your thumb there, if it points it sideways, nice and shiny and reflective because I've got a metal pick. What you don't want is too much of the plectrum showing, because then you haven't got control of it, and then when you strum it's going to fall out and end up on the floor. If you have too little of it sticking out, you're going to be hitting your fingers, which defeats the point of having a plectrum. So what we want is looking for about 1 centimetre sticking out, and that way you can strum with that. So that's tip number 1. Okay, tip number 2. A lot of people, when they first start playing, they think you're strumming up and down, and they go exactly up and down. That's not quite natural. What we actually do is we're going a slight curve so it matches how your wrist will turn or how your arm will turn depending on how you're strumming. So we're not going directly down, directly up, we're going curved. Much more natural, much easier to get into, and you can be in a more relaxed style, which is what you really want when you're strumming. So that's tip number 2. Right, tip number 3. This is linked to that. So as we're playing, not holding the plectrum straight onto the strings, I'm actually tilting it a little bit. So effectively when I'm strumming downwards, I'm tilting my hand down, so I'm dragging it across the strings, and then coming up and just tilting my hand back a little bit, and that way you drag up. If you do it the other way, you're pushing against the strings and you're likely to drop the plectrum. So with the strings, you have that slight movement. I'm exaggerating it a little bit so you can see. It just makes it a nice smooth motion. That's a lot easier for strumming. Right, number 4. I've just done it then. It seems really obvious. You can strum up as well as down. So when everyone starts, we tend to start slowly, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously you can double your speed by just strumming up. And by strumming up on the ands, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so on. Makes it a lot easier to do than if you're just doing down strums, because if you're just strumming down, when you come up, that's wasted energy. And when we're playing guitar, we want to be economical because it makes it easier for everything. So that's tip number 4. Right, tip number 5. This is going to sound a bit strange coming from a guitar tutor. We always tell people, right, you want to be as accurate as possible and technically good as possible. When you first start learning strumming, you're playing a rhythm part, so the most important thing is keeping that rhythm. So it's better to keep the timing and the strumming pattern than it is to be exact of where you're hitting the strings. So when I'm talking about this, we're talking about the right hand. Left hand, or if you're left-handed, your right hand, whichever hand is the fretting hand, that wants to be accurate on the notes that you're holding down. But your right hand, so for instance with a D chord, so D major, we teach it, you're strumming from the 4th string, the D string down. When we're strumming, I might not hit that 4 strings, I might be hitting 3 strings, I might hit 5 strings. The important thing is keeping that rhythm going. People, when they're listening, are not going to be able to notice if for one strum you hit an extra string or 1 string too few. They are going to notice if you suddenly change your strumming pattern or you miss a strum or get out of time. So that's the thing to focus on. Tip number 5 then, timing over accuracy, and that accuracy will come with practice. Right, those are your 5 essential tips. If you like what you see, just like, subscribe, and then hit the bell for notifications for when the next videos are coming out. And in the meantime, happy playing!